Hello, my name is Andrew Wright. It's good to be talking with you all this week. This week we were asked to look in the Oxford Scholarship online database, I believe that's the name of it, to find um, several sources that could help us that may possibly we would use for our research coming up with our dissertation. Um, I found personally that a lot of I've had issues with the um, library, the Jerry Farwell Library. Not just for this particular assignment, but up to this point, and actually several different times, I've had to use that library um, for other classes, for taking these doctoral classes. Um, that's not a knock on the library. I just think that the library, if you were doing if you were really big, if your research was really big or really heavy on religion, really heavy on religious topics, I think that library would be perfect for you. I think if it's not, you're going to have issues finding topics. My personal topic is Operation Iraqi Freedom and how the armies use its tanks, the M1A1 Abrams, during major combat operations. And there's just not anything in there. There's not anything remotely close to that. And that's because and there's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, I just think that that library is very streamlined to what sources are in there, and they don't lend themselves to my sources. Now I was able to find three sources that have kind of a roundabout um, a roundabout way of reaching the topic. They talk about the Iraq War, I suppose, in some fashion. And like I said in my abstract, sometimes if you can find something that talks about your topic in some fashion, you might be able to grab something or draw something from that topic, from those sources that might help. The first one is by David Barno. It's Adaptation Under Fire: How Military Changes in Wartime. Um, the biggest thing to think about is after Vietnam, we the Army and the Marine Corps in particular, we went through a dramatic change. We realized we had to change how we train our soldiers and Marines to fight, and how much we train them to fight, and training them in different terrains. I think that before Operation Iraqi Freedom, we did a good job. We did a better job of that, and I think at least during the initial phase, you saw how dominant our military was, particularly the Army and the Marine Corps, in laying waste to the Iraqi forces because of the training that they had. Um, the second one is by Martin Daltrey. It's called Listening to War: Sound, Music, Trauma, and Survival in Wartime. This is something. This talks about coming back from war. It talks about some of the trauma that happens from soldiers, Marines, airmen, sailors um, that come back from Iraq, and some of the things they have to deal with. PTSD. I've heard several different medical doctors say PTSD is um, um, overtreated. It is um, the term is overused, and I think that those are the same people who've never been to combat. Those are the same people who have zero idea what it's like to go and fight and kill someone and blow up a building that you know has people in there. So it's easy for them to say, oh, it's overused, it's over, it's overtreated, when they have zero clue what they're talking about. um, the next one would be by Travers McLeod. It is the rule of law and war, international law in the United States, counterinsurgency in Iraq and Afghanistan. Um, One of the things that caught my eye about this is anytime I find any, as I've been gathering my resources, doing interviews, preparing myself for my dissertation. Anytime I see anything that has to do with counterinsurgency, I try to pay close attention to it, because that's what this war was about after the initial push, after Thunder Run. And for those of you who don't know what Thunder Run was, that's when the army used its tanks to infiltrate the central Baghdad. After that, really, it was really about finding a way to counter the insurgency, because that on that way to Baghdad, um, it was, I don't want to say it's smooth sailing because we still lost soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen, but it was different because everything was in the open. The enemy came at us with armor. We blew the armor up. They came at us with using technicals, which is a vehicle with enemies in them. We blew the vehicle up. They were on the rooftop with snipers or machine gun. We blew their building up. It was a lot different. Rules were different, and what we could do to the enemy was different in the beginning than it was later on. And we had to learn. We had to make up an entire booklet, an entire document, um, an entire manual about counterinsurgency. Um, but those are the sources I used this week. I'll be interested to hear from you guys and see what sources you guys were able to find on your particular topics.